Are you frustrated with vibrato? Well, maybe I can help you today. Kaveh here, back again with another video, and I wanted to give you an insight in case you feel stuck with vibrato. Let's say you're an intermediate to advanced player and you have vibrato, but you don't know how to make it better. One thing you might want to think about is that there are different types of vibrato. And generally, when you play with vibrato, you could be playing with 4 different types. They are wide, fast, wide, slow, narrow, fast, and narrow, slow. Now, in this video, we're not talking about hand vibrato, which is vibrating with your hand and your wrist, or arm vibrato. Generally, I do an arm vibrato. We're talking about the sound that the vibrato makes. So think about why you use vibrato. Vibrato basically adds color and intensity to the sound. So without vibrato, it would sound nice, but you can add a little bit more beauty with vibrato. Now, depending on the mood and the character and the intensity of the piece that you're playing and the dynamics, you can actually change your vibrato. And one thing I recommend getting is a tuner app called T1, Tuner T1, available in the App Store. And I'm recording my screen on it right now to show you that you can fine-tune your vibrato with this app. We're going to go back to the 4 types of vibrato in a second, but I want to show you what this can do. Besides tuning your violin, and I have it set to A440 now, you can see it's thereabouts at 440. You can fine-tune your vibrato so that you are not vibrating too wildly, and you can retain your pitch. Let me show you. I'm going to play a D on the A string and try to get it in tune, relatively in tune with the tuner. Now I'm going to start adding vibrato. And that's a kind of a narrow vibrato I got going on right now. And I can make it wider. You see that? I can also change the rate. I can make it slower. Not very good at that right now, but I can make it wide and fast. Let's do it low. There you go. Wide and fast. And according to this device, it's saying that the pitch is in the ballpark if it's 10 cents below, which I'm doing 10 cents below a D right now, and 10 cents high. So low, high, low, high, low, high, 10 cents low and 10 cents high. And that's actually an exercise you could do, so why don't you do that with me now? Go ahead and see if you could vibrate super slow, below the pitch a little bit, higher than the pitch a little bit, below the pitch, higher than the pitch, and then you can make it a little faster without getting louder with the bow. That's actually quite hard to do. So I'm going to show you what that would sound like. And that's the general idea. Obviously, I'm a little bit rusty today. I didn't practice before turning the camera on. Maybe I should have. So doubling, let me add one more point about vibrato is that when I was taught vibrato and seeing other people and hearing other people play vibrato, that they generally go a little bit below the pitch and back to the pitch and maybe a little bit above, but mostly below the pitch. It was what I was taught. But I think if you're like on this tuner within about 10 cents of the pitch, I think your pitch is protected, and that's actually a third benefit of vibratos, that if you are, and you shouldn't rely on this to solve this problem, but if you are slightly out of tune when you play, that vibrato can actually kind of mellow out your intonation if you're making some intonation errors. So if you land on a pitch like a D and you're a little bit low, you can come back to the pitch by rolling your finger into the note with your vibrato. So it's not often possible. Maybe you're a little tense and your note's a little low. You can raise the pitch a little bit with your vibrato by rolling into it. You should generally slide your finger into the note if you think you're out of tune, but that's another way to fix your intonation while you're playing. I know singers do it a lot. There's some singers, especially in opera, that have such a wild vibrato that you almost can't tell what the pitch is that they're playing. So let me show you a wild vibrato on that D. That would be a very wide vibrato, almost too wide for, if you're trying to improve your vibrato. So let me talk about the four types of vibrato. We got narrow fast, we got narrow slow, we got wide fast, and we have wide slow. All right, four different types of vibrato. So one thing you can do, and I know I'm just playing one note right now, I'm not going to play Tchaikovsky Concerto right now. You can play a note and alternate between one of the four types. So that's basically 16 variations, right? Is it 16? Whatever the math is, of altering your vibrato. So what I suggest, picking two, let's say narrow fast, narrow slow. What you're going to do is maybe for a bow or two, start with one of them. Narrow slow, I'm going to start with narrow slow, and without getting louder with the bow, you're going to change your vibrato gradually. So I'm going to start with narrow slow, looking at my T1 tuner, keeping the pitch within 10 cents, and then gradually, without getting louder, increasing the rate, now slowing down, without getting softer. Oh, geez. Can't really do it right now, but you get the exercise. I probably need to practice that one. And let's try wide fast to narrow fast. How about that? Starting with wide fast. Let's pick a different note. A. Wide fast, right? Now this is definitely going a little bit farther than 10 cents. And I'm going to narrow it up without getting softer or louder. And then go back to wide fast. You get it? So I'm shortening the exercise right now for the purpose of this video. Let's do one more. Let's do wide slow to narrow fast. Whoops, a little sharp. Narrow fast. Go back gradually to the one you started with. Oh God, I'm a little weak today. All right, so you get that exercise. How long should you do it for? If you're playing your scales, you can do this during your scales on the longer notes, the half notes when you play your scales. You could say, okay, I'm going to start out the first pass of this scale with slowly, narrow, fast, and then the second pass I'm going to do wide, slow, and then I'm going to play my scales wide, fast to narrow, slow. One more thing about vibrato is that you need to think about the narrowness of your and the width of your vibrato, especially when you play up high. And if you look at my violin, I don't have frets on my violin, but on a guitar, this guitar fretboard, and insert pick right now, future me, a guitar fretboard has larger spacing the lower that you go in pitch, and then as you get higher up on the fingerboard, the spacing gets closer together. And the spaces that you need to play are smaller and smaller, and that's actually true on the violin. So let me show you something with a B on the A string. I'm going to play a narrow-ish vibrato on B on the A string in first position. I'm going up to a B way up high, an octave higher on the same string. So I'm going to tune it up. There we go. Make it a little wider. Now you see my finger? If I use that same quality of vibrato way up here and look at the tuner, you're going to see that it's too wide for the same pitch and octave higher. So what do I have to do to make it a similar 10-cent margin? I have to narrow the vibrato. Whoops. There you go. And an octave high. I gotta narrow it, because if I play with the same kind of vibrato, whoops. It's hard to talk and do this at the same time. If I play with the same kind of vibrato, I'm altering the pitch too much. And don't forget about that guitar fretboard. It's the same is true on the violin. You know, oftentimes when you land on a high note on a violin, you're playing with a lot of intensity. And look at that tuner right now on that F sharp. I'm playing a little sharp, but it's going crazy off the tuner. But if I'm playing kind of a more relaxed spot, like, let me tune it up. I'm going to have to play a narrower vibrato than I would. Whoops. There you go. Down here in first position. So I'm playing out of tune a little bit today, so pros, don't judge me. So those are a couple of things that you can think about with your vibrato. Now later in I don't know, in a few days I might do a video about hand vibrato versus arm vibrato, but today we're talking about the sound, we're talking about the exercise. We talked about the 4 types of vibrato and came up with an exercise to do it. And don't forget, you can switch between, without getting louder, narrow fast to wide slow, and then go back to the one you started with without getting louder with the bow. That whole pattern should take, that one exercise, switching between 2, should take about a minute, so longer than I did it. And don't forget, you're going to want to get this tuner called T1, which is awesome also for checking your intonation. You can see if you're playing a little bit sharp or whatnot. All right, Kaveh Saidi saying thank you so much. And if you want to click around down below, I got a lot of content, original music, cover songs, gear reviews, free lessons for beginners. And thanks so much for watching to the end. Didn't have many jokes for you today, but I'll have some next time. See you later.